Hello everyone. Do you know which week it is this week? Which sense we're thinking about? It's this one. Yes, you're right. It's about what we can smell. Now, it's very difficult to imagine a Bible story with smell, isn't it? But there is one. There is a Bible story. And it ties up with thinking about the children in the Bible. Do you remember we thought about Samuel, didn't we? Who heard from God and God gave him a special message. And then last week there was David, and he wasn't very old, but he saw the big problem, but he knew that God was in charge. Well, today's story is about a little girl, and I've made a little puppet. I think you could make one a bit like this. It's just a wooden spoon, and we'll make one in a minute. Do you know, we don't even know this little girl's name, but we do know a little bit about her. She worked for a very important man called Naaman. And Naaman was a soldier in the army. But he was very sad, as you can see. Can you see he's got all spots on his face? He had something called leprosy. Now, it's not like chickenpox, where when you have chickenpox, you get better and all the spots go away. Leprosy didn't go away. And it was a very, very bad illness back in those days. If you got leprosy, it was very infectious. So you had to stay clear away from people so you didn't give it to them. And when Naaman got this disease, he was very sad. Can you see my sad face on my Naaman? Very sad indeed. But this little girl didn't come from this land. She came from another land where there was a man who loved God called Elisha. And she spoke to Naaman and said, I know someone who can make you better. Back in my land where I used to live, there was a man called Elisha, and he knew God. And I know that Elisha's God can make you better. Well, Naaman thought, well, it's worth a try. There's no doctors, there's nothing I can do. I can't go to hospital, I can't do anything. I'll go. So he went to the king. The king wrote a letter to the king of the other land, and they went off. They packed lots of things, lots of presents, lots of money to say thank you for making them better. He went to the king with his letter, and the king said, well, I can't make you better. I don't know who God is. And they said, I know who you need. You need Elisha. So they went to Elisha's house. They knocked on his door. And you know, Elisha didn't even come to the door. He sent a servant to the door. And Naaman and his men said, we've come for you to make me better. And do you know what he said? It was the strangest thing ever. The message was, you have to go down to the River Jordan, and dip yourself in 7 times. And then when you come back out, you will be better. So Naaman and all his servants went down to the river, and they looked at the river. And Naaman thought to himself, I'm not going to go in that river. It looks horrible. I've got much better rivers back in my land. Why can't I go in my river? I know what's in my river. That doesn't look very good at all. But he was just about to not do it when his servants talked to him and said, what have you got to lose? You go in, you get a bit wet. What could happen? What's the worst? We'll dry you off. We'll clean you up again. Go on, you should give it a go. So that's what Naaman did. He went down to the side of the river. I'm just going to make my river here. Oh. He went down to the river, as you can see, and he went down. As you're going to count with me. Ready? He went down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when he came back up, all his skin was clear. He looked at his hands, he looked at his arms, he looked at his face. Everything was clear. It was all gone. And Naaman was so pleased and so thankful. He went back to Elisha and said, let me pay you all the things. And Elisha said, no, it wasn't me that healed you. It was God. And God just didn't want to heal Naaman's face and his illness. He needed to heal Naaman's heart as well. Because Naaman was a very proud man. He didn't want to do what God had asked, but he did in the end. And he was happy. And he went back, and I'm sure he said thank you to the little girl who told him all about Elisha. And I know that he trusted God after that. And I love this story because it's a very different story. It's not like anything we've ever done. I don't think I've ever been asked to go and dip in a river to make myself better. But what a fabulous story to think about how God chooses an unusual thing to do, but we just have to do what he asked. Why don't you have a go at making a little puppet? I'm just going to show you how. All you need is one of these from your kitchen. And now we're not going to draw on it because actually when you finish making your puppet you can take it off and then use it again. But you just need a spoon, you need a little bit of blue tack, a pencil and some paper. I've happened to have got some paper that's sort of skin coloured. Now I'm going to make two at the same time so I can make another Naaman, like with a happy face, a sad face and a happy face. And very easy, you just put the spoon down on your piece of paper and draw around it, and then with your scissors just cut it out. Ooh. Not too difficult. Ooh. Now because it's a spoon I've got to give this one a bit of a chin, so I'm just going to come round and make his chin. There we go. Oops, that's a bit wonky. Now I'm just going to do one for you so that I can see. So your man, he needs eyes. I'm going to give my man brown eyes. I'll give him eyes to begin with. Ooh. Then I'm going to put the little bits in the middle so you can see, and then make it sort of eye shaped. You can take much longer than this. I think he definitely needs a nose, do you? He needs a nose. And should we make him happy? Should we make this one the happy one? Yeah, there we go. He's really happy. Oh, he needs some ears as well. And we give him some hair. Actually, what he could have, this one could have spiky hair. Should we give him spiky hair? There we go, look. And then just take a little bit of your blue tack and stick it on your spoon. Like that, and then stick your face on it, and there you've got a puppet. You can just wrap a piece of cloth around, or you could just make it into a puppet. What fun. I hope you have a bit of fun doing that and you remember our story. Why don't you have a look around your house before we have our Zoom later on in the week and see what different things you can smell. Have you got a favourite smell? Do you love it when the grass has been cut outdoors, or do you like the smell of bacon, or do you like the smell of your favourite crisps or your favourite dinner? Oh, I wonder. Are there some stinky smells too, ones you don't like? Don't want to think about them, do we? Just the nice ones. Let's just pray before we go. God, we thank you that Naaman followed your instruction and you made him better, even though it's a really unusual thing to do and he didn't want to do it. We thank you for the people who were around him that were able to persuade him to do what he needed to do. And we just ask you this week that we will be able to do what you want us to do to make our lives better. Thank you, God. Amen. I look forward to seeing you later in the Zooms. Have a good day. Bye.